我当时
这个城市好像长得早早的，看着你上过他节目吗？我上过他其他课，然后就爱上了。
That was a perfect.
原来你昨天不是跟我打招呼的，我想多了，是我想多了。11:59会到。还赶过来。你家几只猫？
We're waiting just a moment for the podcasting system to be set up. So I think I mentioned that to you last time, that we'll record these, and that way if you miss class, you can listen to those. Yeah. So we're working on that. We didn't get the first class day done because we had a personnel challenge, but we're working on this one today. But sounds like we're making progress. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit though about the posts. I think we had a little bit of a it was a little vague, and I apologize for that, but I think Osese got it all cleaned up. And I think once she did, everybody got it. I looked at the post and they looked really terrific. Did the template help you understand how to build a presentation? Yeah. Okay. And so look, anytime I ask you to do something like a post or anything, let's just be clear. You are absolutely welcome to go to any resource you want to do that. I might direct you to a resource, which we did this time, which was the template. But I don't think we made that clear in the beginning, so I apologize for that. I work on an iPad, and sometimes what I see is not the version, and so sometimes that leads me astray, and I apologize. But that's why Osese is here, to keep me on the straight and narrow. So we need that. You good to go? Oh, that's like a genius. I don't know about that, but I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, great. Well, so what I want to do today is I want to, our schedule, we're supposed to talk about building a presentation, right? That's do it. You've kind of done that. You've written about it, right? You looked at it, you've written about it. Now I want to talk about it, and then we're actually going to build a presentation. Actually, you are. So we'll do that just for fun. And by the time you're finished with that, you should have a really good feel for that presentation template, and it will really help you both now and in your future. So I really want to reinforce the content. Right, so somebody start us off with, when we're going to build a presentation, what's the very first thing was everybody able to access Blackboard and access My Commitments? Anybody have any trouble with that? Everybody working on subscribing to Turning Point? Maybe? Okay, well we'll start taking attendance on Tuesday. So please begin to do that. And just so you know, Osese knows who's subscribed and who hasn't. So we need to get to it, right? So let's get going. And the same thing on the My Commitment. So please get those two things done, and by Tuesday we'll be great. All right. Any other questions logistics wise? Are we pretty serious? All right. And you started thinking about your memes? All right. You're gonna have some fun with those? Okay. Now, when you do your meme, let's just clarify that. I do not expect you to build an entire presentation around your meme. Okay? This meme is just to get you standing up in front of people. And I'm going to give you a few things to say when you introduce your meme, but that's all you need to do. Okay? And we'll talk more about it. Okay. So, start me off. I want to build a presentation. You're the teacher. Teach me. What's the first thing I need to do? Yes, ma'am. I need to open with a hook. What's a hook? It's an introduction, but it needs to be a little more than that. Give me a little bit more than an introduction. Engage is the word I'm looking for. So I want to engage the audience. What types of things can I use to engage the audience? Tell me. A story. I can use a story to engage the audience. Very good. What else?
A question.
Questions. Could ask a question. So I could ask a question like today. If I wanted to start, I was doing a presentation on presentations, I could say, how many of you get nervous before you deliver a presentation? Right? How many? And everybody raises their hand. Stay with me, dude. Right? So I can start with that. So you want your question to be relevant to the subject matter. Okay? I could also ask something like, who is your favorite presenter? So who have you seen present that you really like? Oh, that's a serious question. Yes, sir.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. You like Kevin. He's funny. Is that why you like him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who else do we like? Yes, sir.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Okay. Don't know Gary. What's Gary do?
He's like an entrepreneur, but he's also a public speaker.
Okay, good. You like it. You like his style.
I like his style.
Very cool. That's what matters. Anybody else? Yeah. Jon Stewart is great. John Oliver is a scream. If you haven't seen John Oliver's show, you need to watch it. He is a scream. How many of you have ever seen Michelle Obama speak? I've been watching speakers all my life. I think she's fabulous. Anybody else that you can think of in the public sphere? It's a great speaker. Oprah has a magnificent presence. Ellen has a magnificent presence. Who else? Anybody else? Can you think of somebody else that you enjoy listening to? Denzel Washington has a very nice presence. Whether he's on screen or off, he has a very nice presence. That's very good. Yes, sir. Oh, I thought you had your hand up.
No, Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman has a beautiful, spectacular voice, right? Yeah, he's got a majestic voice for sure. You guys all know who Morgan Freeman is? Yeah. That's great. So anyway, think about people that are good speakers, and as you go through this class and you listen to speakers, ask yourself, did that engage me? Right? How was their voice? Did they do anything that interfered with the message? And kind of you can model things like that, right? That go on. Okay, so let's get back to the hook. It's got to be something of interest to get the audience interested in what you're getting ready to talk about. So it has to be relevant. It can be funny. It can be serious, dramatic, tragic. The gentleman said it's going to be a story. It can be all of those things. You can use a newspaper article. You can use food. You can use an object. You can use anything you want to. But you've got to get the audience interested. Why?
Otherwise they won't listen.
Otherwise they're not listening. Why? Why aren't they listening? Because when they come in, they're thinking about everything but your presentation. If it's cold in the room, can that distract from your presentation? If they're hungry, can that distract from your presentation and the message that they receive? So there's only so many things you can control, right? But you do want to control as much as you possibly can. And one thing you can control is getting people engaged in what you're going to talk about. Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to close that up because we don't use digital devices in here. Okay? All right, great. Now, so we start with a hook. Got to do it. How long does that hook need to last? Well, it depends on how long your presentation is. If you're doing a 2-minute presentation, your hook shouldn't be more than 10 seconds. Right? If you're doing a half hour, maybe a minute or two. If you're doing an hour, it can go as long as 5 minutes. But whatever it is, it needs to be relevant to what you're getting ready to talk about and get them engaged. Okay, great. So that's done. We got to get their interest. What do we do next? The topic, right? The main purpose. What are we here for? And I like to tell people why we need to talk about it. So why do we need to talk about building presentations? Why do we need to do that? Why do we need to learn about ways to deliver effective presentations? Why is that important? Tell me.
So it helps us to make our own presentations?
That's exactly right. Why is that important? Have you guys noticed I do follow-up questions? Why is that important?
We're going to need to know how to speak and give speeches properly throughout our lives.
And our career.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Good for you. Yeah. Very good. And what types of places will you give presentations? Yes, sir, with the hood. You've got a thought. You'll give them in school. Where else will you give them? At work. What types of presentations will you give? Let's keep going.
Pitches.
What time?
A pitch.
A pitch. You'll give a sales pitch. Perfect example. Exactly. What else? Some of you might end up in training. Education. Yeah. Some of you might end up with that. Yeah. You may need to deliver presentations to your children. Yeah. You could. Yeah, exactly. You deliver presentations every single day at the restaurant. How many of you are servers or bartenders? You deliver presentations every single day, don't you? How many of you get nervous when you're trying to recite the specials of the day? Yeah. Yeah, so it's always a little hard the first couple of times, isn't it? But it's great practice. It's great practice, standing up in front of people and presenting. It's good. All right. So that's why I like when you talk to people about what your topic is, I think it's important that you also identify why do we need to talk about this? What's the value proposition for the audience? How many of you like to get value from your time? Everybody does. And so does your audience. And it's up to you to let them know what that value proposition is. And that's the why, right? The interest, the need. Why do we need to talk about this, right? Okay. Once we introduce the main point, what do we build next? Tell me.
You should start to build off into the main points with transition
are transition statements important? They're segues, right? Yeah, it keeps you organized. Look, if you use this template, what will you be? You will be well organized and well prepared for your presentation. So that's why the template is so important. If you'll follow that template every time, you will have a really well-built presentation. And that's why it's so important. So you get into your main points, you do your transitional sentences, right, from point to point, and how many main points should we have?
2.
The template goes on, but I'm going to suggest to you that 3 is kind of a good number to shoot for. If you can break your presentation down into 3 main points, you're going to do very well. It's a small enough number to hit them all and devote enough time to them, but it's also a large enough number to have variety for the audience. Yeah? Good. And then what comes after that?
Conclusion.
It's the wrap-up. It's the conclusion. And that's where most people starting out fall down. And if you think about in our business, that's where we fall down the most. How many of you work in a hotel? Okay, how many of you are familiar with, which hotel?
Residence in the medical
The
center.
medical center. Familiar with where do you?
Front desk here.
Front desk, I'm sorry, I knew that. I was going to say, yeah, where do you guys?
High Regency downtown.
Hyatt Regency, both of you work there?
Four Seasons.
The Four Seasons. Okay. And you work at the desk, or you work just in
Front desk, bellhop.
bellhop?
I work in the kitchen.
Kitchen, desk,
In front desk.
front desk. Okay, well, where do we get dinged the most? On our, you guys are familiar with our, what's the name of the service that rates us? Well, you solve
Forbes?
medallion. Thank you. You guys get those, and they give you your service scores, right? Your customer service scores. Where do we get dinged the most in hotels on our customer service scores?
Desk.
At the front desk, but when? Which process?
Check.
Check out. No, everybody thinks it's check in. Everybody thinks we don't get the customer, but we do that really well. But it's check out. Why a check out? That's exactly right. But it's the most important time. It should be, I know you had a great stay. Name one thing we can do differently next time to make it even better. Right? But what do we always ask at checkout? What kind of question is that? If we don't know how their stay was, we're not doing our job. Right? It's like going up to a table, Zach, and going, how's your food? No. You go up and go, is that delicious? Yeah. Is that just how you ordered it? Right? And you don't wait till the end, do you? You do it a few minutes after you serve, a minute or so after you've served the food. We don't wait till the end to find out. If we're waiting till the end, we don't get it. It's like an exit interview at the job. How many of you done an exit interview? You done an exit interview, and then when it was over, I wish they'd asked me that 6 months ago, I'd still work here. Right? Don't wait for that. We'll wait till the end. The conclusion is crucial. Airlines are the worst. How many of you hate baggage claim? You hate it. You see, if I was in charge of baggage claim, it would be like Disney World. There would be drinks, music, dancing, videos. You would book a flight before you got out of your next flight before you got out of the airport. You would already have another trip planned. See, that's a conclusion. When you give a presentation, you need to deliver a conclusion. You need to wrap it up. Yeah. And it needs to be big. In a presentation, you open by getting their interest, and you close it big. You got that? Good. Now, does everybody have a piece of paper? If you don't, can we share some? A piece of paper and pen? We've been talking about the presentation and the different steps. I think you need to cover, so you know what we're talking about. Okay. So what I'd like for you to do is I'd like to take 20 or 30 minutes. We'll see how long it takes. And I would like for you now I want you to pick any topic that you would like to present on. Make it something you're relatively passionate about that you love. It could be your dog. It could be the job that you have or want. It could be a trip you want to take. Right? But it could be something else that's more scientific or more technology or something that's important to you. And I would like for you to build a presentation using the template, 1 page or less, right? And then you're going to turn that in, and I'm going to take a look at them. But we're going to build them, then we're going to talk about it, then we're going to turn them in. On your paper, at the very top right-hand corner, just put your PeopleSoft number only. Please don't ever put a name on something that I ask you to turn into me. So PeopleSoft number only, top right-hand corner, and then build your presentation. So you know the components, right? Describe for me your hook. Describe for me your topic and why does the audience need to learn about it. That might be a little tough if it's your dog, but it could be that, oh, he's the cutest thing ever, and so the world needs to know. And then give me 3 main topics, right? Main points. You don't have to build your transitional sentence for me, but at least tell me there'll be if you want to, you can, but tell me there'll be a transitional sentence here, right? Segue here, and then give me your conclusion, how you would wrap it up. Okay? Let's be fun. Be creative. Ready, set, go. Yeah, you can do this. Requires some thinking. That's the whole idea. That's why you're in college. Have you got paper? Yeah. Oh, okay. You're good. I don't start. Yeah. I couldn't see the ladies in front of you. I couldn't see.
Can we use like the internet to kind of get some ideas flowing in our head?
If you want to do that, go right ahead. Just don't stay the whole time on Facebook or anything like that. Not that you would do that. You need a title. Yeah. Everything needs a title. 5 minutes? Does that give you enough time? Try it. See what we can do. impressed with the intensity with which you're taking this assignment. That's good. How you coming? About finished? Almost? Just another minute or two. Okay. If you're not totally finished, it's okay. It'll be a work in progress. I'm not going to count off if you didn't quite finish. But what I'd like you to do now is take a picture so you have it. Right? And then we'll turn them in later. We'll turn them in. But let's get a picture of it now so we don't forget. Take it and they can text it or email it to you. Excuse me. Sneaky today. It's cold in here. I'm sorry, it's so cold. Is anybody else cold? Oh, real cold. I'm sorry. I'll work on that. Although I've been working on it for 30 years, so I'm not sure. Let's see a couple of things. One is just logistics. Would everybody please bring a name tag to the class next Tuesday? Just and put a little picture, image, or something, something that tells me a little bit about you. Yeah. Maybe your course, a joint, something that tells me a little bit about you. Oh yeah, just bring a name tag. Just build a name tag and bring it and put it out. So that I'm going to try to get everybody's name down. It's challenging with all the classes, but I try. But it's easier if I have a name tag in front of it. That way I just don't call them the same person over and over again that sits right in front of them. Otherwise, you're the guy. Okay, so that's good. So here's what I want to do for the rest of the class. First, I want to talk about what we just did. Then I want to talk about Brene Brown. Then we're going to talk about corks. And then we're going to talk about what we're going to do on Tuesday. Okay, so let's start with, so how'd you do? You feel pretty good about what you created? Yeah.
I think selecting the topic was the most difficult part, but after that,
That was the hardest part, trying to decide. Right. How many of you started on a topic and then went back and changed? Anybody do that? Yeah, a couple of you did. Okay, yes, sir.
I think for me it was the hook. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can talk about what I know and have passion for what I'm writing about. This is the hook. If I'm passionate about it, but someone else might know that.
It's a very good point. The hook takes a lot of thinking.
Yeah, that's what it puts
Yeah.
my time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of thinking. Yes, ma'am.
I usually like to do a lot of research before I start on a presentation or something, so that kind of was my hardest.
Yep. Because I didn't give you much time, so you had to move pretty quickly. Okay. Okay, I get that. And I think that's good that you want to do the research. It's helpful. But can we overthink things sometimes? Yeah, we can. Sometimes you can put too much into a presentation, right? Sometimes I like the phrase less is more. Yeah, stay focused on that. What about you guys? Any challenges, specific challenges, or did it just flow? It flew, okay.
I found the closing to be challenging.
You found the conclusion. Yeah, how do you make it big?
Yeah, how do I make it like wham?
Yeah, yeah. The one thing you don't want to do is say, okay, that's it. You just don't do that. But you'd be surprised how many people do that. Okay, I'm finished. And they're like, no. No, it needs to be memorable, right? You want to leave people with an impression. So do that. All right, good. So will you share some of your topics with me? Yes, ma'am. In the very back. What's your topic? It's absolutely okay.
I was just talking about how, like, I guess, about art, how people kind of overlook people's hard work for it.
For art?
Yeah, like people who like create stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay, the creative side of art. Okay, good. I like that. I want to offer a suggestion. I want you to build on your confidence. And so in the future, when I say, what's your topic? In lieu of saying, well, it's just this, I want you to say, it's about art. You see the difference?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I wrote about like a plant-based diet.
Okay. Very cool. Who else did? Camille did too? Plant-based diet. How many of you use a plant-based diet in your nutrition? Okay, that's good. I'm big on that. My daughter's a nutritionist, so I'm big on that. But she doesn't just do plant-based. She does all kinds. But she told me one time that I could eat anything that didn't have a mother. Isn't that a plant-based diet?
Anything without shade.
Well, yeah.
Anything that doesn't have a mother. That's vegan?
Well, that's vegetarian.
Eggs don't have a mother? Oh, wait. Oh, I said that to my daughter. She was like, Dad, didn't you go to college? I was like, yeah. She goes, chicken. I said, oh, all right. And then I said lobster. She goes, are you really thinking? And I said, okay, I'm trying to pick everything that I, So I lasted on this concept for about 15 minutes. So what did you write? What did you put down? Trip to California. Which part of California? San Francisco. One of my favorite cities. Yeah, very good. So those are your 3 points. I left my heart in San. You gonna sing? You're not gonna sing. You don't know. What did you do? Yeah.
About like reducing plastic food.
Very good. Yeah. You too. Very good. I like that. Yes, ma'am. How about you?
Jane Austen Torian.
Okay. Very cool. I like it. And yes, ma'am, with the white water bottle. Very cool water bottle. Yes.
Talk about my parents.
Your parents. Okay. Yeah. A little bit about what they instilled in you, or where they came from.
How do you
Okay, very sweet. I like that a lot. Yes, sir.
I talked about does what you do in life have to be polarizing from what you love in life?
Okay, so in other words, you can do something that you love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for you, those of you that didn't have intro, and you may remember if you did, but if not, ultimately your goal is to do what you love to do, and find that intersection with what people will pay you for. Right? You do what you love to do, and what people will pay you for. You've done it. That'll be an interesting presentation. I look forward to that. Yes, sir.
I had 2 topics there, flip topics, but my first one I chose was records, and the deeper connection it gives you to music.
You talking about vinyl?
Yeah.
Vinyl. How old are you, man?
Better than 20 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. But you're into vinyl.
Yeah, I've been in vinyl for a couple of years now.
Oh, you're gonna hate this. About 2 years ago, I gave away 400 pieces of vinyl. Yeah. I just got tired of them being in my garage, and my friends were like, "You what?" I said, "Yeah."
I'm sure worth now.
I know, that's what they keep saying. It's done, it's over. But I had some great places. They were fun. Stuff you guys don't have any clue about. But I'd have given them to you had I known. You're just a little late.
You'd be surprised, man.
Oh, I know. No, I've heard they are. Yeah, we used to love vinyl. We used to love, vinyl has a nice history, especially I was in the bar business for a long time, and so I was connected with a lot of the DJs, and we go around a lot looking for music. Matter of fact, I'll never forget, I was in Dallas. You guys know, what was the first, well, let's ask, what's the first hip-hop song?
I know, like, the first hip hop song ever, or the first one?
First hip-hop song ever. Well, first hip-hop, well, pretty much first one ever and first one that charted.
It's from the Bronx, right? Bronx, New York?
Yeah, it's called Rapper's Delight. Hip hop.
Yeah, that was the first one.
You don't stop the run, bang, bang, moves it up.
I
Yeah, what you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. Me, my friends, and we're gonna try to move your feet. Well, I am Wonder Mike, and I'd like to say hello. Yeah, that song. But I'll never forget, I was in a club, and that song came on, and we had a bar out in West Texas, so we didn't get the latest. And I went running up to the DJ, and I said, dude, I gotta have a copy of that record. He goes, get out of my booth. And I said, no, you don't understand. I'm leaving town tomorrow. I gotta have it. He goes, $20. Sold. Here we go. And back in the day, it was like $2 for an album, but I wanted it, and then everybody went crazy out in San Angelo, Texas. Even these cowboys were like, oh, this is good.
That song was sampled. They actually had to pay a lot of rights for that song when they first put it on record, because the background music from it was taken from Chic, which was a big disco band, and the song was
Sadly, I remember that too.
Good Times.
Say Chic.
And Nile Rodgers came into a hip hop bar where they were playing, and he said, "That's my song," and he got a lot of money because they didn't put his name down on
Yeah,
it. So.
it's a great song.
Yeah.
Okay, this is random. You grew up in San Angelo?
I didn't grow up in Angelo, but I had a nightclub in San Angelo.
Okay.
Yeah, are you from Angelo?
No, but my dad grew up there, so.
He did?
Yeah.
Ask him if he remembers a club named Friends, because your dad's probably my age.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I think like 60.
Be careful.
I mean, I don't really. No, I don't really know how old he is.
Well, I'm 62. I'll be 63 next week. But, so he's probably asking me if he ever went to a nightclub called Friends. It was on Knickerbocker Road. Yeah, I know. Kind of crazy. You guys ever been to San Angelo? No. It's a cool little town. It's in West Texas. I was out in Lubbock, and I just got hired to come down there and open up this club for a bunch of guys that have made a lot of money in oil and gas. It was fun, though. We had a lot of fun. You gonna text him right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would just like to get your opinion on a big conclusion.
Yeah.
I guess I don't really know what one looks like, and I'd like to see one.
Yeah, that's a great question, and perhaps I led you astray with the concept of big.
But there's something that
Just listen, and let me restate that. It just needs to be memorable. So sometimes conclusions can be tragic, right? Think Romeo and Juliet. Sometimes a conclusion can be an image that you put on the screen. Sometimes an image, I tend to close my presentations with something funny because I want to leave the audience laughing. But not all presentations lend itself to that, right? One other thing about humor, just while I'm on the topic, is if you open with humor in your interest-getting technique or your hook, that can't be the only humor you use. Because you've set the audience expectation now that you're going to be funny. And you don't have to have a whole lot more, but you got to have some more. Everybody, do you see why? Okay. And then the humor today has to be non-offensive, unless you're in a comedy club. Then you can do whatever you want. But if you're going to talk to a professional audience or training and education, it has to be non-offensive. And that's harder and harder to do. What do you say?
He said yes.
Well, yeah. Yeah, everybody went there. There wasn't anything else to do. There, it's pretty easy to be successful with that club. It was good. Yeah, that's fun. What's his name?
Steve Young.
What kind of business was he in?
Well, he's an electrical engineer.
No. Did he go to ASU, Angelo State?
No, he went to A&M.
Oh, he's an Aggie. Well, yeah. We'll have to talk more about that. Great. What other topics? Did I help you at all with that? Yeah. And we'll point some out as we go forward. And as a matter of fact, let's do that now. share with us some of your conclusions. Why don't we do that? And that'll give you an idea of what other people thought. How about you, man? What was your topic? And tell us your conclusion. We've got just a few more minutes to do it.
It was gratitude.
Gratitude was your topic. And how are you going to wrap it up?
I was gonna say a little story about how it changed my life.
Perfect. A little story about a personal story about how it changed her life is what she was going to use. Could be very memorable. Thank you. What was your topic?
Being a mom.
Being a mother.
Yeah.
And how were you going to wrap it up?
Like,
See, I could see a picture of the baby, but I could see that'd be fun. Yeah, you could do that. You could see. I think it'd be fun just to give you off the top of my head. Talk about the child, right? But don't ever show it. And then at the very end, just bing, flash the image, and don't say anything else, and then just walk away. I think that would be memorable and any way to hear that. How are you going to do?
Like, it can be hard on is what you see.
So yeah, you're going to leave them with a message. Did you hear that? Okay. It's hard, but it's so good. Very good. What else? Tell me, Mr. Football. I saw Melton, by the way. He's in the class right after this one.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
so mine was about athletic knee injuries.
Okay. It's amazing how we drift toward things that are happening. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, and so my conclusion was basically just going to be like a big statistic about when you prepare for surgery, the outcome, and then when you don't prepare for it, the outcome.
Great idea. It's a lesson learned, right? Statistics. Great way to wrap up if it makes an impact. I had a very cool thing happen last semester. A young man that was in the class, he's very creative. But when he got up, this wasn't his conclusion, but I want to share it with you because I thought it was very creative and very helpful. He gave a statistic, and he showed it in numbers, and then he said it again, but he did a pie chart. And then he said it again, but he did a graph. Right? And he just kept, and the class thought it was funny, and it was, but also they walked away with the message. Because he emphasized it 3 different ways. It was very cool. So I like ending with statistics. Okay, what else? Yes, ma'am, with the hat. Okay, you don't have to if you don't want to. You want to? I'm very sincere. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
I just don't know how to explain it. I know it's a good conclusion.
Well, tell us. You want to come up and do it? Give us a little insight. Next time?
Yeah.
Okay. Think about it for next time. Did you come up with a conclusion? Yes, yeah.
I just had a last sentence because mine was about the book tour.
Yeah.
And so the last sentence was the book doesn't have to end when you turn the last page.
I love it. I love that. Yes, ma'am, next to her. Yeah.
I just like the book, I would go back to that.
Yeah. I love that. And you come back to that. That's really a nice approach to an ending. Yes. Let's go next to her. Yes, ma'am, with the glasses.
For the conclusion?
What was your topic first?
I did barista, or just being a barista.
A barista, yeah.
And then I just talked about how, for the conclusion, tie it back, saying that Americans were very, we need coffee. Like
We need it.
we run on coffee. It's like a big thing in the U.S.
Yeah. How many of you drink coffee? How many? Holy moly. I've never had coffee in my life. Actually, that's not true. I've had it one time in my life, and never again. Oof. And then, and how many of you are addicted to drugs? You're all, if you're drinking coffee as much as you guys are drinking, you're all addicted to drugs. Caffeine and nicotine are the 2 biggest drug addictions we have in the world. Okay. You've had your hand up, sir. Yes, sir.
So my topic was basically a sales pitch for like a cruise.
Cool.
And I wrapped up my conclusion with like a personal story.
Yeah, that you've been on a cruise and how it kind of impacted you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. All right, these sound great. So, would you do me a favor? Pass them all this way. And then, make sure your PeopleSoft number's on it. Make sure you have a picture. Yeah, it's right there. Make sure you took a picture of it. No, you don't have to drop it. You don't have to drop it. Okay, yes, come in. Listen.
You dropped a couple.
Yeah.
They didn't tell you what it was about until like halfway through, like
Yeah.
the health you didn't realize it was basically vegan propaganda.
Ah.
But then like also the Scientology one at first was you thought it was very like neutral Scientology one, so like near the end it started getting like super dark and you're like, wait a minute, this is like very clearly like
Anti-Scientology.
anti-Scientology
Yeah.
geared and like
Thank you.
how can those presentations that may be successful should we even attempt to try and do those?
Well, you're talking about kind of leading the audience down and then kind of hooking them. That's just a method. I personally find it to be a little offensive, right? Because I want to know how I'm going to spend my time. But listen, if they're on Netflix and they found the money to do it, then some people are watching them. We don't know that for sure because it's a documentary, so it's funded up front. But I don't find it personally appropriate, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work. So I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to give you a good thing. How did you feel when you?
I also like felt like offensive with the word to describe it. Because like I was like watching that documentary, it was like supposed to be like helping you figure out like what to eat. And the very end, it was like, I'm a vegan, if you're not a vegan, like it was very
kind of
very
judgmental at the end.
propaganda. And I was like, did I just waste too long?
Yeah, because that destroys the objectivity. That's the challenge. So I think it's just a personal preference. I think. Yeah. Okay, Brene Brown. Did you find her? Did you watch? What did you think?
Pretty good.
Tell me what you walked away with. Did you watch two? Did you watch Vulnerability? And what did you walk away with? Why is that important? Let's talk about that. Why is it important to be vulnerable? It's how you can create emotional connection with somebody. And look, emotional connections today in the business world are how you create loyalty. Right? You can learn to listen empathically or be vulnerable and sensitive to other people's needs and desires and accept things when they don't go your way. You can really make an emotional connection with people, and that's how you create loyalty. Yeah, that's very good. How many of you have trouble being vulnerable? Yeah, I certainly do. When I was younger, I did. I'm a little better at it now, but you have to work at it. You got to think about it. What gets in our way of being vulnerable? Fear does. Pride, ego, yes. Previous hurt. All good answers. They do. And who has total control over all of them? We do. So I hope you'll own that, and I hope you'll go back to it, because the value proposition of being vulnerable is really quite strong in terms of making emotional connections with people and yourself, quite frankly. So I'm glad you watched that. Because look, the other thing about being vulnerable is it will help you overcome your fear of speaking. And that's why I wanted you to watch it. Being vulnerable means it's okay that other people think differently of you. It's okay that you make a mistake. It's okay that you do something funny in front of other people. Speaking of being vulnerable, one of the greatest gifts you can do for yourself is learn to laugh at yourself. Do you ever do anything funny and you go, oh my God? The more you can do that, the easier your life will be. Do we do funny things? We do funny things. Your life will go much better for you if you learn to laugh at yourself rather than other people. Now, if people are intentionally trying to be funny, that's great. Laugh all you want. But this stuff like Jackass or whatever it is you guys are watching, yeah, you're laughing about people that are getting injured and getting hurt. And that's not being vulnerable. That's kind of being sick. And I don't mean sick the way you guys think the word sick means. Yeah, not in a cool, groovy kind of way. Sick in kind of an unhealthy way where you laugh at somebody else's frailties. That's a lack of empathy. So I encourage you to think about that for a bit. All right, well, good. And what about shame? Did you glean some interesting information from her? Yeah?
Point between like the difference between guilt and shame, how like people who experience a chronic shame are more likely to be depressed, have eating disorder, be anxious, and then guilt is completely inverse, like having a gut, a good sense of guilt most likely like not depressed or anything.
Yeah, but guilt is a tool that a lot of people use to manipulate other people. Have anybody of you experienced that? Well, if you grew up Catholic, you experienced that. I grew up Catholic, and I was like, what? I don't know. But a lot of parents use guilt, right, to control. It's a control mechanism. So realize those things and don't do them yourselves, right? Be self-aware that you catch yourself not doing that. But good, I'm glad you watched those. It's exciting that she's here on campus, so that's kind of neat. And she's so popular around the world today. But what did you think of her presentation style? What did you think? Did you get a chance to see it? Yeah, what did you think of her style?
I think it was pretty good. I like how she was funny.
She was funny, and she made fun of whom, though? She did. So let's learn from that. Self-deprecating humor, making fun of yourself, is the best type of humor in a presentation. Okay? Try to remember that. And it really comes across really kind of sweetly, doesn't it? And you kind of make an emotional connection with her, right? Everybody, did you kind of see that? Did you sense that? So it's a good style to emulate. Have your own style, but it's good to kind of have a little bit of a model. Yeah.
I know the fact that someone was calling her vulnerability.
They were calling her?
Vulnerability.
I'm not understanding, I'm sorry.
The vulnerability?
The vulnerability.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was funny.
That was it. You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of good stuff out there on TED. I hope you'll watch it. There's a lot of good things. Okay. So that's Brene. Saw a bit of a model. Now, why did I ask you to bring your cork? Did everybody bring one? If you didn't bring one, it's not a problem. But everybody, if you have a cork, hold it up. So if you don't have your cork, you have a few extras. Nice, you have a few extras. Like a cork? Yeah, she has one. All right. Got a cork? Pass them around. All right. Now, take your cork and kind of rub it in your shirt and clean it up a little bit. Do you have a cork? Do we have an extra cork?
We got two more over here.
Okay, we got one over there. Grab one. Here we go over here. I've got a whole bag upstairs.
That's our bag? That's it down.
Don't, yeah, bring them, hand them down. No. Put somebody's eye out with the cork. Did you have a cork?
No.
Okay, we need one over here. Okay. All right. But thank you for those of you that brought extras. Thank you. And please bring some more on, bring yours on Tuesday. But I want you to bring them to class every day. And here's what we're going to do with them. And look, and I know we just passed some corks around, so if you're not too keen on doing this, I understand. But I want you to put the cork right here between your teeth. Just like Camille. Stand up. See the cork? That's what I want you to do. Put your cork in there. I want you to repeat. I want you to repeat after me. Are you ready? Put your cork in between your teeth and then repeat after me. We'll bring a cork on Tuesday. Yes? Okay, but those of you that don't have a cork, still repeat after me. Repeat after me. Splish splash, I was taking a bath. Say it out loud. One more time. Splish splash, I was taking a bath. Hold on. No, the other way, dude. Cork goes this way. No, because there you go. You did that without taking it out. That's impressive. Are you ready? Must have not have got a lot of sleep last night. Are you ready? Have you ever seen a deeble dabble devil? Kiss his weef wife woof. Alright, take your cork out. Repeat after me. Splish splash, I was taking a bath. Splish splash, I was taking a bath. I must have not have got a lot of sleep last night. Have you ever seen a deeble dabble devil? Kiss his weef wife woof. Here's what you do. This is what professional speakers do. Or newscasters, actors, they use a cork. They put it between their teeth and they read or speak out loud for 1 minute a day. 1 minute a day is all it takes to greatly enhance your articulation. Or if you have an accent, it will help you enunciate the language, whichever language you're trying to learn. In this case, English. Right? But it will help you. So we're going to do it every class for about 30 seconds. So bring your cork. Because here's the thing. I tell students about this technique. I've been doing this for 30 years. And I say, you got it? They go, oh yeah, I got it. And then they never do it. So I finally thought this semester, we're going to do it. And we're going to have it really enhance our presentations. So if you have something fun we can all share and speak, bring it to class, and we will try to say it. And we'll say it with the cork, and then we'll practice afterwards. We're not leaving it. But hold on. Why just 1 minute a day? Because after a minute, your jaw will begin to hurt. But also because after a minute, you will begin to drool profusely down the front of your body. We don't want to see that. But why does this help? Did you feel the difference when you took the cork out?
Yeah.
Why does it help? You've got to use your jaw more. It's exercising. Did you use ankle weights when you were young? Right? And you wear the weights around, you wear them, and then you take them off. How do you feel? Light. You can jump. You can run faster. It's the same thing. We're working around the muscle. Okay, guys, before you get out of here, let's agree on a couple of things. One is, what are you not going to do this weekend? Drink and drive. Not going to text and drive, and never ever get drunk and text. You will regret that. Okay, hold on. Let's go. I just want to go to your schedule. I got a couple of things I want to make sure we're clear about. All right, now. For Tuesday's class, you have a discussion post due Monday night. This discussion post is on the topic that's due that day, right? If it's not specified as that day, we're going to be talking about personal presentation skills. In the resources section of Blackboard, there's a list of personal presentation skills, things you need criteria. Articulation, grammar, enunciation, physical movement, right? Eye contact. So that can kind of help you get started with your post. But I also want you to go out onto the web and learn about suggestions and tips for personal presentation skills. Okay? Think about those. That's what I'm looking for. And then if you'll print that page out that's in Blackboard, that will be a great outline for you to use when we're talking about it on Tuesday. All right? Don't have to, but if you want to, it's a great outline. Now, we are going to start your meme presentations. We're going to set aside 2 days for these. We may get it done in one, but we've scheduled 2 days. Here's what I need you to do. When you build your meme, I need you to send it to Osese. And then Osese, we're going to build just kind of a PowerPoint deck that will load up, and then we're just going to go bam, 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 right? We don't have time for somebody to come up and load it yourself. So we're going to have it built. You're going to come up, and so you'll have to look when we, Osese, perhaps you can build a list of the order in which they are, so they can look at the list when they come into class, and then they'll know when they go. Right? Now here's the thing about any presentation you do in here. Before you come up, give your phone to somebody that can record you. Because I need you to evaluate it after you've done it and send me an evaluation. We have a form for you to use. But your presentation is not complete until you send me that evaluation by the next day. I want you to look at it that afternoon or evening and then send me your self-evaluation. Okay? We're just going to try to get better each time. Okay? And then we're going to post it on Instagram. Just wanted to see you guys were listening. All right, now, on your meme presentation, you're going to want to write this down. Remember, This is just the opportunity for you to come up and be in front of the class. And you can use the podium this time. We'll talk about this in the future, but this time use the podium. But I don't want you to look here. Your meme will be here. If it's here, it will be here. I want you to practice staying face forward to the audience. This is not how you give a presentation. This is how you give a presentation. It will be here. Practice this. Everybody got it? Now, I want you to tell us, so when you come up, good afternoon, or good morning, whatever it is. My name's Stephen Barth. I'm from Dallas, Texas originally. And then I want you to share something interesting about yourself. Right? I love Dalmatians. I really do. Greatest dog ever. His name is Leon. I think you do. And then tell us something about yourself. And then your meme, right? Then your meme. It's right here. Your meme. And you can, once you've done that, you can, go like this if you want to. But you need to explain your meme. Okay, but quite frankly, that's kind of the contrariness to a meme. It should be self-explanatory. Now, the meme should be for your generation. Don't try to do it for me. And I'm probably not going to get half your meme, because I don't know the pop culture that you guys are memeing about. But you can explain it to me if I need it. How's that? Right? It can be funny, it can be serious. You guys have some ideas about your memes? Okay, but the idea is you're just coming up to get used to standing in front of people to speak, and we're just using the meme as the justification for coming up here. Name, where you're from, something interesting, the meme. You got it? We should be able to do each of these in about 30 seconds. Got it? And if you're next, please be ready to come up. As soon as the person starts to go, you come up and get ready for yours. All right. You'll have a better idea after Tuesday's class about personal presentation skills. Hold on, we have a question. The meme generator, what's that say? Is it? Oh, it's not up yet.
But I'll put it up in the
we'll put it up. It may not be open, but we'll get it up there. Thank you. It's just an app that you can download, so you don't have to wait for us. You can just find it. Just a meme generator app. All right. Everybody good? Have a great weekend, guys. Don't drink and drive, please. That way.
So when do we have to send you the meme? Is that by Winston? Or is it by
We're probably like Tuesday.
Last time we did that other strategic plan. Right?
It's just that.
Okay, good. So this year, I think what you're going to have to do is No, you do it separate. I think you need to do it separate. Why don't you think about what you'd like to do and do it on, and then we'll talk about lanes and bring it back to me Tuesday. Is that soon enough? And then I'll sign it back. Yeah, and I'll sign it. Is that all right? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. She might need a little alert.
Yeah. It looks like 0 out of 3. Oh, I have 1 out of 3. Oh, mine says 0 out of 45. Whoa, 45? Yeah. It says like, how do you know 1? I've been working with the texture trying to. Yeah, I did those and it still said 0 out of 45. Even though we still had the Yeah, you don't worry. The first is like the first of all assignments. Yeah, I can
can't do that. Yeah.